Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to the March 27th Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Madam Clerk?
At 6:15, Ray Noble requesting the Commissioners to proclaim September as Prostate Cancer Month. Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Advances and repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez?
Due to time constraints tonight, I'm not going to ask for an executive session or have any personnel action, so we can just pass this issue.
Approve and waive the reading of the same in the County Commissioners meetings minutes for February 6th a.m. and p.m., the February 13th and 20th, and March 6th, 13th, and 20th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Authorize administrator to process documents to obtain the refunding of the general obligation bonds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Community Development, approve the semi-annual revolving loan fund report for period July 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2012 as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Amend Resolution 1367 adopted January 30th awarding a contract to provide professional services for pre-application work and preparation of the FY08 CHIP grant application. Amendment is to reflect the correct account being planning.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Amend Resolution 1368 adopted January 30th, entering an agreement with Neighborhood Alliance for Meals on Wheels program. The amendment is to reflect the correct account as senior center.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Approve Addendum 2 to CT Consultants, Inc., carrying out county's activities as contained in the FY08 Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant application for Region 4. Addendum is to reflect extension of grant
Can't hear
completion.
their signal back there. They can't hear you.
They're not on.
Is yours off?
Try it now.
There it goes.
Okay.
Try
Okay.
it again.
Hello?
You're right.
Can you hear me now?
Somebody had
Can you hear
off.
me now?
Somebody had you off.
Oh,
The mic was turned off.
oh, good.
But you projected well.
That's right.
Okay. Approve Addendum 2 to CT Consultants, Inc., carrying out county's activities as contained in FY08 Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant application for Region 4. Addendum is to reflect extension of grant completion date from March 31st to June 30th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Accept the recommendation of Tax Incentive Review Council and approve the report, which includes review of 17 tax abatement agreements and recommendation to continue 16 for 1 year and acknowledge expiration of 1 and termination of 3.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Job and Family, Advertise request for published hearing on April 16th at 5 p.m. at Job and Family Services, 42485 Northridge Road, Elyria, room 482, to solicit comments on social service programming and funding. Notice being the Chronicle on April 1st and 8, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under the engineer, award contract to Breezy Trucking and Paving Company, Inc., Valley City, in the amount of $2,719,190.78 for the Abbe Rd widening and resurfacing project in the city of Elyria and Sheffield Village. Issue notice to proceed to be completed by November 15, and Traffic, Inc. will be the subcontractor with no substitutions. Estimate was $2.5 million, but bidder was within the 10% allowed by the Ohio Revised Code. This project was initiated as part of Lorain County Engineers Bond Program. Project will be funded with 80% federal funds through NAACP. Remaining 20% or $543,838.16 will be provided by the City of Elyria and the Village of Sheffield. Authorize the engineer to execute documents on behalf of the forward with prosecutor's approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, I was approached by the mayor of Sheffield Village at NAACP last month, or earlier this month. Jim, I asked you about this. You wanted to look at possibly doing construction in the evening. Where you would talk with the engineer on that?
I did. I had conversation with Engineer Carney's office, and he indicated to me that this would cause overtime in the project, and that there wasn't funding for the overtime in the project. There was also an additional concern about the amount of funds necessary for safety forces to secure the area, and I was informed that the percentage used for those services is the same as is in any other project. And
Having a meeting with the engineer this week, he told me. I
Okay.
talked to the mayor last week on this and told him what the response was and the amount of dollars that were available.
I looked over the funding. There's an adequate amount of funding to secure the site. Sometimes there's a little overzealousness in that area. With regard to the potential for evening work, the last I heard now, they're talking about maybe working until 9 at night.
Right, a second shift is what I
Okay.
was hearing.
It depends on how they can staff, and then, of course, there'll be acceleration cost in that. So there may be, some other agreement that can be reached, but right now, given the limited availability and how long this project's taken to see light of day and get all the funding lined up,
Right.
I'm just really glad that we're seeing a project that
Right.
is so needed in this
Well, the
community.
concern also with Sheffield Village is the French Creek Bridge that's coming down also, so they're gonna have a double whammy along the Abbey Road.
Well, that whole area has
Detroit Road
undergone a
issues,
lot
so-
undergone a lot of work in the last couple of years. You had the bridge closed over on Gulf Road for quite a
Right.
while. Then you had the Ford Road Bridge closed, and you had parts of Abbey being repaved, it seemed like forever. And now it's,
Bridge there also, now
Right.
they're doing another bridge.
and of course, this piece is the one, though I think is the most critical to the success of that
Right.
corridor, is the widening of that choke point going down to Detroit Avenue. We'll continue to work with the mayor and see if we can arrive at a solution, but we
Yeah,
did have the
I
conversation.
Just wanted to make sure you had the conversation.
Yes, sir.
And then I conveyed it back to the mayor.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under the sheriff, approve and enter an MOU with various political subdivisions, fire, arson investigation, mutual aid assistance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, and I know.
Chief
Did you want to come up?
Cavanaugh or Fire Chief?
Congratulations, by the way, on your big drug bust yesterday or day before yesterday?
Yeah, we released it yesterday.
Yesterday.
Right. Good evening, Commissioners. Chief Kirin, Oberlin. Represent fire chiefs and the fire investigators. Thank you for considering this. It is a first of its kind. You know, we have come before commissioners in the past through Tom Kelly and emergency management for mutual aid agreements. So this is first of its kind to actually extend across from fire into law enforcement because of the nature of fire investigation and arson investigation. All I want to do, unless you have questions, is I want to thank Sheriff's Committee and Chief Deputy Cavanaugh and Mr. Ennis for their input, cooperation, and facilitating this agreement, which is very much needed by the fire investigators to make sure we're on a legal basis to do our work.
Wonderful, great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything, chief, or no?
Nope, we're just here to support them.
Okay.
All right, go home,
All
get
right.
cleaned up. He's been in
Thank you.
training all day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
Yield.
Whoa, Mr. Ennis, Assistant County Prosecutor.
I have one issue of threat and litigation, but I think I can hold it up.
You're the best, man.
I'm kidding.
You're the
I'm
best.
kidding. See the reaction I got? I didn't even look up. I was looking at the monitor and said, I think I'll wait.
There you go. Not in the mood to get sued this week.
Commissioners report.
I'll be quick. Well, I only have a couple things. For anybody interested, we're having a blood drive here tomorrow from 11 to 4. If you'd like to donate blood, come down to the front of the building there. There'll be a big van out there. April 22nd, Developmental Disabilities is having an open house. If you've never been there to see what they do, it's worth taking the time, and that is from 11 to 2 on April 22nd, and their address is 1095 Infirmary Road in Elyria. Their phone number, if you have any questions, is 284-2720. This past Thursday, I met with Goodwill and our Solid Waste Department to talk about future collaborations on additional recycling. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to work with them in the future. And what's the last thing here? Oh, I also attended this past Friday at luncheon at the YWCA. Actually, Patty Echo was there and Sandy Strosak, and it was a women's group, and we discussed issues facing women and if there really is truly a war on women. We had a lot of good discussion on that. And then Sunday, unfortunately, I had to go out to Wellington for a funeral of a gentleman who I'm going to dearly miss, a very good friend of mine, Donald Maybaugh. He was the last living prisoner of war in Wellington, and he's going to be very missed. And I'm hoping Hal, our IT guy back there, will be able to do a trailer in the near future. He had done his story on a video, and we can play that for you, hopefully at a future date. That's the end of my report.
Wonderful. This week actually had a quiet week. There wasn't a whole lot other than paperwork going on, but I was in Columbus on Tuesday at Commissioners Association. We met on two issues, one being the 911 consolidations, the state's pushing to move forward and trying to explain to State House they really don't fund our 911 operations. The wireless money, since they've lowered it down to a quarter, is about 18% average budget for most 911s across the state, but they are trying to work on a consolidation plan and rewrite those laws. Also, indigent defense came up. There is, in the budget bill, if the money gets moved, we'll be able to raise our reimbursement to 40% from the current 35%. And if there's an opportunity with additional revenues and looking at what the carryover is going to be, if we can get another $15 million on top of that, they're saying we can then push to get the 50% reimbursement that the law was written on many, many years ago. And since Lori and I have been here, we've been as low as 24% reimbursement, so it's glad they're looking at that. And they're also going to go to hopefully a case-wide management system that the attorneys and the courts will have to fill out for them to oversee which courts are expediting cases the fastest through the payment of appointed counsel and public defender's office. So it was a good day. Learned a lot. End of my report.
Yeah. Multiple events going on through Lorain County attended. Tomorrow I'll actually be over at the courthouse. We're going to have a Lorain County Film Commission coming in, and they're going to take a look at possibly shooting a movie scene there. Working with them along with the mayor of Grafton Village, Megan, to try to bring in more small films to Lorain County. So that's going to be tomorrow at 5:30. If you'd like to meet the director, you're welcome to attend. And
Did you guys both get my text yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, I'll be
We'll
at
bring
the
that up.
Valor Home.
Yep.
So that's about it. So end of my report.
All right, April 3rd at 9:30, the Commissioners will meet. And number 2, I received today the letter from Brighton Township requesting that they withdraw the ditch project on Orphanage Road. So could I have a motion to withdraw
So
that and then
moved.
cancel at the same, well, it'll be canceled because it's
Right.
withdrawn, but
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Hi.
And Mr. Ennis says something.
Well, I just that may not be the end of it. It may come back, so just. everybody
Something needs to be
understands
done
it.
out there. It
Right,
just
yeah.
depends
It's
on how
just,
they
we
decide.
decided, rather than keeping the hearings going and having people come in, let's go back and redesign the whole thing from the beginning.
Wonderful.
I signed these. And real quick, one thing I did forget, I was at the Township Association meeting on last Thursday. And there was talk, they have to pay $1,000 for insurance to be at the fair. And I know we have a huge tent. And I was wondering if you would be willing to consider allowing the Township Association to go into the tent with our solid waste department.
I think we'd offered that in the past,
thought
hadn't
we
we?
did
Yeah,
that.
we'd
We
offered,
don't
they'd
have-
always
Okay.
turned down, they wanted to be inside the hall.
Right, with the fees and everything, they're just looking at possibly reducing cost, and they would like that. Is that my understanding, Patty?
They are agreeable to that now?
That's why I'm here, yeah, to see if you would extend that courtesy to us.
That's
Absolutely.
fine. We've offered it in the past, and it was always turned down. so-
What do they have, a couple tables?
Yeah,
But we only, when we have indoor, we have a table in back of us and a table in front of us, which I think they're 8-foot tables.
Right.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, with 3 seats, so.
Right.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, no problem. Did you remember to tell them that?
I
it was-
did,
Okay.
and again, that's $4
A year.
a year
Right.
for the, for that,
I will correct it.
Yep.
Okay.
so, and
Good.
that's gonna be $4 a year for the Drug Task Force meeting, so,
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay?
it's well worth the money. You see, they're busting them at, what, $2 for the transit a year.
Peace.
Board correspondence?
Move the reading be waived?
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Can we go
Mr.
into the-
Noble?
Yes, Mr. Noble, join us up here. Ray Noble.
Ray
With the
Noble.
Man-to-Man Prostate Group. You know, bringing Tim Howard up here, you really lowered the respect I had for the organization.
Oh, no.
Well, that kind of hurts.
He's kidding.
You know, I'm just kidding, Jim.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, the Man-to-Man Prostate Cancer Subgroup here in Lorain County would like to thank you all for letting us come before you to ask you for this proclamation. Tim and I were at Dr. Spurnock's office around about, it was prior to January of 2013. And we were given some advice, and we were talking to the doctors like we normally do about prostate cancer. So Dr. Spurnock came to Tim and I, and he says, you know what, Ray, we have some alarming facts here. And I said, what are they, doctor? He says, you know, in the United States annually, over 250,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. I says, no kidding. And he says, 1 in 13 are going to die. Watch out, Ted. And so I says, well, that's kind of alarming. So what Tim and I did was we checked into all the facts that we could find out. And I sent some paperwork to the commissioners about specific facts about prostate cancer. And the last stuff that they had, the information they had on statistics was 2009. Well, Tim and I kept digging, and we found out in 2011, over 1,300 men died from prostate cancer in Northeast Ohio. And that's where we live. And so what we decided to do was we wanted to make people more aware of prostate cancer. So we decided, and I talked to Commissioner Kalo at a Christmas function, and Sheriff's Committee, and State Rep Matt Lundy, and they said it would be a great idea. But they said you should go out first and canvass the neighborhood and canvass the city and see who would help. And we did. So we partnered with Mercy Sideman Cancer Center, the American Cancer Society, numerous churches, the Lorain branch of the NAACP, who was the vice chairman is right over there, Earl Head, the Elyria branch of the NAACP, and quite a few restaurants. And so they said if we could get a county proclamation, at first we want to go to all the cities, but we found out that would be just too much. Why didn't we just go to the head, which would be the county? And I discussed that with you, Mr. Kalo, seeing as though you're going to be chairing the Relay for Life in Lorain this year, and we'll be glad to be working with you.
Can't wait to see you in a dress again, right?
You know, our group is the only one that won the Miss Relay contest 3 years in a row.
But you look best in that dress.
You didn't look too bad yourself.
Oh, no, I'm the ugly woman.
No, you looked pretty good, Ted. Yeah. So what we would like to do is come to the commissioners and ask them for a proclamation to make the month of September 2013 Prostate Cancer Month throughout Lorain County. And we've got quite a few doctors on board. And what we want to do is we want to make people aware. Because men are ignorant. Men are stupid. When a woman has an issue, right away she cries. And she gets it. A guy has an issue and he thinks he's macho. And so we finally find him later on in the cemetery. Because, you know, prostate cancer is a silent killer. And what we really want to do is we want to make more men aware of prostate cancer. And so that's why we're here before you commissioners today. And I hope we can get the proclamation.
I don't see that as any problem, Ray. I mean, we all support to a degree. We all know people who've had prostate. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Ray Noble, he's been involved with this for at least the last decade that I've been involved, the Cancer Society and Relay and going to the man-to-man group. And Ray has a great turnout of supporters tonight. Tim Howard, I'm sure he's going to speak next. He's a third ward councilman in the city of Lorain who just went through it a couple years ago. And
absolutely. You know, it's an interesting fact. And Ted, I know, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I know you've been involved for a number of years, you know, in the Relay for Life. For me, it's quite an interesting journey because most men, I won't say we're ignorant, we just are very uninformed. Some are ignorant, but just very uninformed. I was taking a simple blood test for the Urban League's Save Our Son program, which I didn't want to get into anyway because I didn't feel like exercising, but I did it anyway. And I got the report back that said, your PSA is high, immediately go see your doctor. I felt great. I didn't even know what a PSA was. And that's just being honest, no idea. So I let it go for 2 years. Next thing I know, you know, I'm sitting on a table and they're doing some surgery. People are very uninformed. Men are very uninformed as it comes to this disease. And it's important that we as an organization, as the man-to-man support group, get out there and help educate people. You know, and I know you guys have to go, but there's a story that I like to share. I call it the Four Musketeers. There are four gentlemen, and I won't mention any names, that are very affluent in our community. Lawyers, a heart surgeon, heads of very large organizations, all had the same cancer, all had their prostates removed. Now, people like that don't quite understand how important it is to, you know, get your checkups and get the screenings. Then the rest of us don't stand a chance. We've got to inform our male community about this disease because it's going to affect somebody that you know, I'm sure, at some point in time. Because the numbers, as it reports, by age 50, 45% of all men will have prostate cancer. I've got a support group that I met before I met Ray and got involved with him in Berkeley, California, where I used to live. These guys are in their early 40s, had their prostates removed. So I know the data's changing. I know the numbers are changing. We're just not seeing it, you know, hit the paper yet. But it's very important that we educate people. Get checked out, especially if you have a lot of this in your family, or if you have some of this in your family. You know, don't just say, oh, I'm not going to do anything about it. We get a lot of that as well. So I think this is a very important charge that Ray has put in front of the group and now in front of you. And again, I appreciate the support and hope to see you guys on the trail in September helping us get the word out and working with the hospitals to do some screening and some testing for folks. So thank you.
I think it's important what you brought up too about the health. We see a lot of professional athletes in baseball lately, you know, in great physical condition, and then they're coming out and finding out that they have prostate cancer. So it doesn't matter if you're a couch potato or if you're a professional athlete, you need to get that checked out.
That's right. Ray just said something that was not 100% correct. He said it's not going to cost you any money. We will be looking for donations personally from the commissioners to start help funding the program so that we can help brand it throughout the county. So we'll come and ask you
Tim,
for.
every time you come to that microphone, you are asking us for money, man.
I thought
He's not allowed back anymore.
I thought this was for that. It's like a ATM machine up here, isn't it?
And if you look also, while Ray's still standing there, he handed out some wristbands.
Yeah.
The blue ones for the gentlemen
And pink ones for the girls.
with the prostate
girls
don't
cancer,
have
and
a
the pink ones
prostate,
for the
so
breast
they need
cancer.
blue.
And today on MSN, I was telling Ray beforehand, a new doctor's report is coming out. They've recognized new markers in DNA that triples the chances of recognizing prostate cancer, breast cancer, and one other cancer I didn't quite understand. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know them all, so. But they did announce that doctor's report's coming out this week.
Very good.
So,
Well,
which
the
helps
odd thing
us.
about it, Commissioner, people don't know how many cancers there are, but there are several hundred different type of cancers, over 200 different type of cancers. So it's rough.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
Ray.
all
Thank
that
you.
you're doing to get the word out, and it's definitely needed, necessary. Thank you.
So do we need a motion to approve proclaiming September prostate cancer
I mean,
month?
if
or
you want
just-
to, but we could just, I'll just do it.
I'll do it as a motion.
All right.
Fine.
Motion in, making September 2013 prostate cancer month.
Second?
Any further discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming,
Thank you very
supporting.
much, guys. Look at that crowd out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're at public comment. If
Public
there's any-
comment? Anybody want to address the board? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns for us? Do you want to ask for more money on another?
Microphone's louder.
You can't hear us?
Turn up your hearing aid, Larry.
It's one of the few times I've been happy I could hear the politician.
Is that why they do it?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.